2, 1. Woo! Oh, crap. I'm not over there. I'm over here. Well, I could be over there. It doesn't really matter. Oh, for goodness sake. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Late Night Playset. My name is Jay Ryan. We're over here now. I like it better over here. We're over here now. We're at the kitchen table. Thanks very much for dialing us up. It's a great time. If you haven't already, to please like and subscribe and click the bell, all the things you're supposed to do on YouTube. Or in this digital world that we live in now that I should stop. I should just need to embrace it. I need to learn about it and embrace it. Okay, so with that, welcome. Thanks for being here. This is the part where I usually say we've got a great show for you. We don't. We have no show for you again. This happened on Tuesday, where a guest had to cancel last minute, and then we didn't have anything because we were busy doing other stuff. And then here it is Thursday. God, wouldn't you know it? Son of a gun, the same thing happened again. Our friend Zack Klapman was exposed to the COVID because our friend Matt Farah has the COVID. So we decided to play it safe rather than sorry, even though he was a negative. I still have not shaved. I'm noticing in the we're still. You know what? It's the Aloha show. There you go. Aloha, everybody. We're going with full Hawaii mode. I'm going to take my pants off in a little bit here. Shorts. I'll be wearing shorts. Don't worry. And rest assured, I am not here alone. The reason you're all dialed in is, of course, that girl right over there wearing her beautiful gear from our friends at the Hello Deli in New York, your only source for officially licensed Late Show with David Letterman merchandise. The Hello Deli is a good friend of ours, but they also sponsor the Letterman podcast. Cue Canada Mike. What's up, Canada Mike? How are you, my friend?
Greetings, everyone. Although I don't know who the everyone is because the live video ended on Instagram moments ago.
Probably because of the Pointer Sisters. So you know what? I will, while you work on figuring the right mic out in your studio because it's very echoey. The one day, every time I think we've got it, we don't do a sound test, and that's my fault. It's my fault today. But I will get our Instagram going again here. Hopefully, maybe easier said than done. There we go.
Is this the right mic? No.
Oh, that sounds right.
Nope. This doesn't sound right? No,
nope.
It doesn't. All right.
But your other one that you just talked into was on. Your Paul Schaefer band mic. Yeah, nope.
How's that? Are we better now?
That's the one.
All right, there we go. Thank you. Sorry.
Don't be sorry.
Sorry.
Canadian sorry. Hi, everybody. Oh, don't mind us. We're just getting some stuff figured out here. This is what the Instagram audience was looking at. They were seeing this. Hi, don't mind us. Canada Mike, I am very happy you're here tonight because, Nicole and I are here, but there's no one in the chair. So I have a feeling we'll all be chatting again.
Outstanding. I'm in.
Couldn't help but notice is it a Mercedes-Benz shirt? Is that a Formula One shirt? What are you wearing there?
You know what? You could probably help me with this. I have had this shirt for probably 15 years. I believe it's some sort of racing pit jersey. It has
Yep.
It has McLaren and Mercedes on the back of it.
Mercedes.
I've got 3 shirts like this, and I love them.
Well, where did you get them? Because that does seem to be a Formula One Mercedes McLaren team shirt.
I got it in Bangkok, Thailand, Jay.
All right, perfect. Well, maybe it's some sort of unofficial thing because those aren't all under the same. They both make cars. They both make engines. I'm just going to stop talking into the kitchen table, and I'll come over. Normally, this is the part where Will starts it up. Hey, Will.
Right on.
Take it away, everybody. 2 minutes, and we'll be back with the same shit. that time, a 2-minute thing, and then I do my look around.
The shot is on me, and I'm very self-conscious about that.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. Tough.
There we go.
It was on you because I was moving about the studio, and I didn't want people to see and hear what I was doing.
Nicole, you look good in that shirt.
Yeah, I was looking for this the other day, wasn't I?
Yes.
I knew I put it in here somewhere.
I'm glad you found it.
Well, welcome back, everybody. It is Thursday, November 3rd, 2022. This is what we have for you. What do we call it? It's the Aloha show? Excuse my language. Hey, self-conscious guy.
I'm right here.
I know. I'm just going to leave it on you for a while I take a sip of my... I have a sip of my beverage.
Great.
It would be nice to have a Paul Schaefer for some beverage music. It would be...
Yep.
Something like that. Dave was right about him being a musical genius. I think most people think that to me. Oh, Mozart, Beethoven. While he could do that stuff. Really, I think what it came down to, he was a musical comedian, is my opinion. Yep. Is a musical comedian, as well as being all of those other wonderful things. His timing, his sense of when and where to come in was exceptional, and I'm sure that was honed between the two of them over the years.
I bet.
But, Paul was funny before he got to Dave. Saturday Night Live for 5 years, and what was the name of it? Maybe Canada Michael maybe know this. What was the name? And if not, Don's, who's watching, will know this. What was the name of the show that Paul Schaefer did where he came out to the coast a few years... what am I doing? There we go. It came out a few years prior to Saturday Night Live. He had a pilot, or maybe it was even a series. And I want to say it was about the business. Do you know what
I think it was him and a bunch of the Godspell people.
I want to say Over the Top, except Over the Top isn't that arm wrestling movie? View from the Top, something from View from the Top. I don't know. We should look that up.
I believe that's a flight attendant.
I think so too, with the Blythe Danner's kid. Yeah. Well, all right. So we're off the trail a little bit there, but I don't know. It doesn't matter. This is what you're gonna get for a whole hour tonight. In fact, you can play along if you want. We're going to be talking about the I almost called it the Late Show Prizewheel. Good grief. Somebody's taking a little bit of ownership here. What the hell is the name of this show?
A Year at the Top.
The Playset. What is it?
A Year at the Top.
Is that what you said? He's right. Yeah. So anyway, my point to all that was that Paul Schaefer is a very funny musical comedian as well, and him knowing everything, he's basically like a jukebox. So he knows. It's like humming something in your head that would be funny if you had a whole band. Well, Paul Schaefer was the whole band that could do all that stuff.
It's a way bigger deal than he gets credit for. He's so good.
Yeah, and the music is one thing. That's obviously wonderful and entertaining, but
it's great.
The way his brain thinks is what
comedy. It's hard.
Yeah,
and I've seen a lot of people try to do it, and it's not the same.
People also, I think a lot of people have never really got Paul Schaefer, the Paul Schaefer character, the over-actor, he's dead, all that crazy stuff. That was his character. Every time you touch that boom there in Canada, we're hearing it. Can you hear it? Yeah, you.
I moved the table a little bit, Jay. Maybe that was it.
I think when you get your new studio set up, Ozzy will probably have all sorts of cool little toys for you to knock some of these bugs out. It's
going to be so great. It's going to be so great to get this computer off the table. And I can't wait. It's in the next couple of weeks.
Ooh, coming up. Very excited.
Yep.
So they're changing their studio over to it's going to be multi-purposed, I guess, versus just whatever they're doing now.
Cool.
And with that, a cosmetic redo and then a technical redo as well.
Cool.
So he'll have little zones. He'll have his little Letterman podcast zone, and then he'll have a different zone for HeatCast, which is very smart, I think. And then whatever else, he'll have other zones. I would love to see a zone with a podium with a clock on it, and just a microphone on that with his microphone with his. I'm not saying you need to have that. I'm just saying that's what your role should have on this particular show, anyway.
That would be funny.
Pardon me, I'm just sketching some things out right now.
I had a feeling. He's like, no. I've noticed one thing with him. Our creative processes could not be more different. But the way we kind of crack eggs here and there or shine a flashlight, and then the other one sort of picks up the trail is pretty complimentary, I think.
Without a
And
doubt.
it goes both ways.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I was going to make it goes both ways joke, but I don't think I'm allowed to do that anymore.
No, I don't think so. Well, because it's not a joke anymore, right? Back in the old days, it was a joke if you were gay. You were gay, I can make fun of you. That's a joke. Ha ha!
Now
It doesn't make sense. I'm not defending it, but those were like the old comedy rules.
Now it's
Nowadays,
a
yeah,
guy you know
you
next
go make
door.
fun of anybody who's queer in any way. That's a goddamn hate crime, friend. Oh,
Yeah.
not that you were doing that. Not that you were doing that.
No, I was more thinking both ways. People would be upset about that. I think it's supposed to go 8 ways now. I'm not sure how many ways, but I think it's 8.
Is that how it covers it?
There
However
you go.
many.
Yeah, I go 8 ways, so I'm all right. But if I went both ways, that's way too limited for what our culture can accept.
But it's right, because it's too binary. You got to stay non-binary. You ain't cool unless you're non-binary. In the old days, you just had to pee your pants.
I'm octosexual,
all right,
Jay.
Let's see. Who says? Irene Hoffman says, present. Nicole got a long sleeve late show t-shirt. The very best. Yes, thank you very much to Rupert and the Hello Deli. I have never seen until it arrived, a long sleeve t-shirt that also happens to
Really?
fit you well, I think.
It's great and it's warm. I love it.
Oh, well, we got a favorite. Keep wearing it. Wear it out. You'll get another one. Let's see what here. Jen Zidek. Seinfeld is crazy about Johnny Lieberman selling his likeness without permission. What a tool. Is that true? I can't imagine that'd be true. Why? Because of the stickers? I can never tell with that. With
I
Jen
don't know.
Zidek. Jen Zidek. I can never tell with Jen Zidek because the comments, while appreciated, are I can never tell how to take them if they're being inflammatory or not. I don't think so, but you never know.
Right.
And then also some people like some people and don't like other people. So while they may like the show, sometimes the guest yes or no. Sometimes they like the guest and not the show. That happens too. There's plenty of stuff on the card. What did we decide to think? Playset Playwheel. The Playset Prizewheel. We're calling it the Playset Prizewheel, right? We have to decide on this because it needs a sign. We got to make a sign for it.
I like that.
Is that right, Mike? Does that sound good to you?
It sounds spectacular. I know that if I was in the running for something from the Playset Prizewheel, I would be very excited about that.
Oh, man. Well, get ready. I mean, it's blank now. But so now we have to decide how to do this because there are a lot of friends who are very excited about the prize wheel as well and want to and are already donating things to put on the prize wheel. Now, finding people to spin the prize wheel, all that stuff is easy. But I think really what we need is the formatting. Do we write the prizes on the wheel? Because it's like dry erase, you know what I mean? So you can just change it, whatever. Do we write the prizes on the wheel, or do we number the wheel and then have a list of prizes? The latter made sense to me at first, but then I thought it's not nearly as much fun.
I
You want to
go
see
with
the prizes
writing
go
the
around.
prizes on there.
Yeah, you want to see
Yeah.
where it's a waterbed.
Yeah.
Oh.
It
It's a
lets
jukebox.
everyone play.
Okay. I thought the same thing. Even though I want Wheel of Fortune, I want to see numbers on there, but
It doesn't feel the same.
it's not. No, I agree with you.
Well, okay. The Wheel of Fortune numbers, though, you're saying, come on, free spin. Come on, this. I want to be looking at that wheel going, come on, boombox. Come on, boombox.
Yeah, we all agree.
And then I get a pen.
I think that's how it should be too. Even though it won't be a picture of the boombox or the grandfather clock.
No.
Pat, I think I'd like the rest on the gift certificate. Does anybody remember when Wheel of Fortune used to be that way?
Oh, yeah.
You used to have to spend the money you won during
The little rooms.
during the in the little the little rooms, the little.
I'll buy the dinette set, Pat.
I think that's where the showcase came from, right? Or that was Price is Right. But they were these little
Yeah,
showcases.
the showcase was long before that. But yeah, the room, and you pick items in the room. That was very awesome.
I just remember the slow camera movement. It was like, ooh, the microphone or the mug. Ooh, the other mug. Ooh, do you want the iPhone? And then the person was in the little bubble, and they were like, ooh, I don't. Oh. You remember that?
Kind of.
Sounds like the Chris Farley show. Do you remember that? You remember the time when?
I remember. Hey, and by the way, you could have your cake and eat it too, because one of the categories on the wheel could be mystery prize.
Yeah. I mean, it could. Yeah. Do you think I want my cake and eat it too? Do you mean like how? How is that eating my cake and?
No, because if it was numbers and everything's a mystery, you have a list with numbers, right? Those are all mystery prizes then.
Oh. Yeah,
but if you write down all the prizes, one of the categories could be mystery. Mystery.
I think not only are you right, I think you're just smarter than me. I was thinking of simply the logistics of how to do this thing. I wasn't thinking of the user experience until I thought, oh, it'd be nicer to have a prize. The mystery element of, 13. What's 13? Oh, I got to go to the 13. You're right. I wasn't, that was a byproduct of, But maybe boy, I guess you're right. I do like it both ways. See, I wasn't hemming and hawing until you explained that there were options. What do you like
we've done
best?
A lot of good already in this show.
What, of course, high five. What would you like? What do you like best?
I like naming the prizes. I want to be cheering. If I see a wheel going around and I've got something that I want to try and cheer for, that's where I get excited.
Yeah, and then I think there should be some busts on there too. I think there should be like nothings, and then nobody goes away. Nobody who spins the playset prize wheel goes away empty-handed. Just because you hit and busted out on a 0, you're still going to get a dual shift sticker pack or something like that, you know.
That's great.
That way, so you still get something, but
I love that.
Yeah. But we have to find reasons to hit this button. There was one. For demonstrative purposes.
Speaking of The Price is Right, do you know who Randy West is?
Of course, we're friends.
I think we're gonna be bringing him on the Letterman podcast because he's a broadcast historian, and we're gonna talk about the difference between David Letterman being a comedian versus a broadcaster.
Yeah. Have you read his book? Do you have his book yet?
We're gonna plug the book on the show, and the reason he hasn't been on yet is I need to read it.
I asked a question.
I was
know
answering
you're aware he has a book.
Yeah,
I would read the book first. I would read the book first and see what you think.
Well, that was how I was answering your question. So we're gonna have him on the show after I read the book. That's the whole.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
It's the delay, and then I don't think it's quite loud enough. But there used to be if it was too loud, it would get into a echo reverb thing. But I think I turned those mics down, so you would hear it there.
All right.
Somebody would hear it. I think we're okay, and I can hear you a little better now.
Outstanding.
Here we go, another tech rehearsal. Let's see. What do we
Sorry, guys. We're getting better and better as we do this.
Jen Zidek, Spike had to reprimand Johnny Lieberman on the podcast today. Oh, hilarious. I wonder if it was, I mean, what do you think, Jen Zidek? Was it serious or was it kind of facetious? I mean, Jerry is pretty protective of his image, and he does control all of his entities quite a bit. I thought the wording was rather interesting on his little post about comedians in cars yesterday.
I didn't read it.
That was not meant to be demeaning, by the way, his little post. I didn't.
What was his post?
Well, there is a new Comedians in Cars book coming out. It's simply a book talking about the process of making the show.
I saw
over
that
those
there
years
was a book.
But it started out, let me read it to you. Because I've just happened to have a really good memory, so I see through the Hollywood rewrite bullshit sometimes.
What do you mean?
Yeah, right. I know. That's a bummer for Hollywood people sometimes. The first episode, this is Jerry Seinfeld's post about the comedians in cars getting coffee. This one, everybody. Oh, shit. There we go. All right. You get that. All right. Everyone knows. It's me who's late to the party. Everyone else knows what's going on. No! That's the one. Okay, the first episode of Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee went online 10 years ago on our own website. comma, without any press or promotion, just me and Larry David having a funny conversation. Wasn't it on Crackle, Sony's website?
I thought so.
Crackle.
Sony's website, right? So that was my
Yep.
response. Crackle. That was my response on here. Crackle. I mean, there's 1,179 comments, so I would imagine it probably got buried. Yeah.
I'll buy that book. Take my money.
Really? You've seen the show. What do you want to know?
I've seen that show multiple times. It's comfort food for me. I love that show.
Yeah.
Did you ever see? It all goes back to Letterman. Did you ever see when Letterman interviewed Jerry Seinfeld? I don't know if it was at the Paley Center or where it was, where he went through the process of the show with Jerry.
I believe it was vice versa. Seinfeld was interviewing Letterman, but it was a bonus episode the first season of My Next Guest. Is that the one you're talking about? It was just
They
the two
did that
of them.
as well.
Oh, okay.
They did that as well, and we've done a postmortem on that actually on the Letterman podcast. But no,
Okay.
This was David Letterman interviewing Jerry about comedians in cars specifically, and they took Jerry brought a sample of him interviewing Sarah Silverman before the editing, before all the music, before all of that stuff, and then he showed it afterwards.
Uh-huh.
And it was fascinating going from the raw footage to the actual show itself.
To what makes a show.
It feels like the book is going to be like that. Yeah.
Oh, well, it's funny because anything with Jerry and Gary Shandling, they that episode especially, they clash on their fundamental understanding of where the fulcrums of importance are on some things in life. And I lean towards Gary more than Jerry. Jerry is a wicked good businessman, and I mean, like, my boy's wicked smart. And I think Gary was not, because that couldn't have mattered less to him, and that's more me. Jerry knows how to fucking package a product. He really does. I mean, he and his team, his people, whatever he has done over the years, he knows how to do it. Damn. So yeah, if Lieberman, but wasn't he selling wasn't it? It was just a sticker, wasn't it? Uh-oh, we lost Mike. Oh, there he is. Wasn't it just a sticker?
I thought so.
It's hilarious. I love that we're commenting on that stupid thing.
By the way,
thanks for bringing it up. By the way, Jen Zida, because that was. Oh, hang on. Here we go. Hang on. This looks.
Yeah, you blanked out for a second there, and then you came back.
I want a Pench for spinning the wheel does the game. Spinning impressions, poor sports. I'm afraid of. Irene Hoffman. Now we're gonna put a back scratcher on there just for you. Jen Zida, Jerry Seinfeld is pissed. Lieberman fawns over rich people. It's embarrassing. You think so? I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, I've seen Lieberman around some effing rich people. I mean, people maybe not Seinfeld rich, but closer to Seinfeld than us or Lieberman.
Yeah.
By the way, 57RT thinks that we should ditch the prize wheel altogether and just build a wheel of fish.
Swedish fish? If it's an edible wheel
Well,
of
I think
Swedish
he's-
fish,
I think-
don't know
I
how I
think
could
5RT
possibly turn that down. It took every amount of strength. I was in the grocery store the other day. It took every ounce of strength I had to not buy the giant bag, this giant bag of Swedish fish that was on sale for like $6.99. It doesn't make sense. $6.99 is too much for a Swedish fish because you really only need a couple. But this was a bag so large that I just wanted it. I was like, that'll last a year. I like them when they're stale. When Kaz comes to visit, he can have them. Those are East Coast Feed's favorite. Everything I could to not buy. So now all of a sudden a prize wheel, looking across at the prize wheel, a prize wheel made of Swedish fish. Well, I don't know. I wish we had a Kathleen Ankers to make some of these things. That'd be really fun.
I might be in for that.
I think the
them?
wheel of fish was also a UHF reference.
Oh, see, thanks for explaining it. Everyone says I would like that movie. I have not been able to like it yet.
I don't see you
Wow.
liking it all. That's the one with the Muppet, right?
No, it's Weird Al Yankovic.
Weird Al's movie about
Yeah.
a TV station with Michael Richards. I love that movie very much. Now I also have the veneer of nostalgia over my eyes about that because it came out when I was like 16. But I love that movie.
Yeah, I mean, I think every time this comes up, I go, "Oh, I need to watch it," because someone like you talks about it with just as much enthusiasm as you do. Because nobody is lukewarm about that movie. They either love it or hate it, and most people love it. And I like Weird Al. I have no issues with Weird Al. I've met Weird Al. I think we've met Weird Al together at Comic-Con or someplace. I can't remember where, but I was like, holy fuck, that's Weird Al. And then the people we were with were totally jazzed by it. But I just did he direct it or something? Like, is that the problem?
It's not in
I don't know if he
my
directed
wheelhouse
it.
from when I was a kid.
What? I just.
I think
What
he
happens
wrote
in the
it.
first 5 to 10 minutes? Because whatever it is, I can never seem to get past that hump. Maybe 15 minutes.
I don't know how he inherits he inherits his uncle wins. I think he wins the TV station in a poker game, or he inherits it or something like that.
Yeah, something
And
about that
he
seemed
hires
a
Mal
little
to run it.
implausible to me. No, I'm just
Well, it's
kidding.
ridiculous. The whole they have a parody of Conan the Barbarian called Conan the Librarian in it. It's.
I
mean,
love that. I just mean the mechanism could be better. You know what I mean? Oh, the uncle died or whatever. He won it in a poker tournament. Oh, that makes sense. That's how most people get their TV networks.
It's,
Sorry.
But Michael Richards is precious in that movie, and I remember him when this is one of my favorite Michael Richards moments ever. Back before the dark times, he was on like a 2020 interview or something talking about Seinfeld, and people were like, "Oh, you came out of nowhere, and now you're Kramer." And he's like, "Well, I was on Fridays, and there's a bit of a cult following there." And he goes, "And I played Stanley Spadowski on UHF, and there is like this cult following of that character."
I
And
even
it's
know that
true.
name.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
I wouldn't have been able
he's
to,
got,
but I've heard that name.
Stanley Spadowski has a cult following. I've been actually actively looking for a Stanley Spadowski T-shirt.
What's
but
the
I
name
have yet to
of
find
Jim
it.
Carrey's not mask character, his street character in The Mask? Isn't that Stanley Spagowski or something like that?
Oh man,
Something
I don't
similar?
know that. It's not Stanley Spadowski. I'll find
Okay.
out though.
All right.
But it's not Stanley
let's-
Spadowski.
Irene said, Seinfeld said he was flattered by people doing similar themed shows. I just watched it yesterday. Yeah, I mean, he did. Well, I mean, it's him. He's part of it for sure. I don't know. Podcasts were already coming. The whole doing it in a car thing was definitely unique as far as I'm concerned. But then it was really kind of doing it in the coffee shop.
Yeah, it turned
Stanley
a bit.
Ipkiss.
Oh, that's not even close. Just another Stanley.
Ipkiss,
All right.
remember? Because they had him and Cameron Diaz had the kiss joke. Ipkiss. Yeah, that's right.
I'll go one
a good
further, and you
movie, too.
probably don't know this, but since you're such a film nerd, you might dig this. You remember in the beginning when he's having his car, he's at the garage. Those jerks are effing with his car, and you remember that whole scene? Do you know that that's actually
Yes,
the Ghostbusters firehouse that they're in? Go look again.
Oh, that makes my heart sing.
That
That makes
lift
me
is
so happy.
literally where they would park the Ecto-1. You can see all of the stuff in the background, the staircase, everything. They just kind of shot around the
That makes me
poles.
so happy.
Yeah.
That's
And
beautiful.
and Big Trouble in Little China is in there too. And by the way, I'm not talking about the one in New York, the exterior that you saw the other day. I'm talking about the actual one
Yeah.
in L.A. that they shot the interiors in. Hey, does this pole still work?
I love it.
Those guys are trying to negotiate. They're like, "There's no place. This place is a dump. There's no way." The real estate agent's like, "So," and he comes down the pole. That's one of my favorite parts.
Such a good scene.
This place is great. When can we move in? It's like every time I've watched a car deal like just explode by something, be like, "Oh well, we have to buy this one. We'll never find another." Like, oh my god, you're blowing it. Oh god.
Hey, everybody. Canada Mike, a.k.a. Ray Stance, right here. That's me.
I
just
know what
own
you
it.
mean.
I am
I
Ray
know what you
Stantz.
mean, but I don't think other people do. If you had to put yourself as a Ghostbusters character, you would be Ray Stantz because of
The unbridled enthusiasm of a fireman's pole that still works. Yeah, just like that.
you. We have a sometimes we're setting up meetings, right? Because we're talking to other people and whatever. But like, Mike sets this stuff up because he's better at that. But like, he'll send the emails or whatever, and he's like, "Hey, gang, I'm really excited," which is pretty on brand for me, or something like that. I love you. Don't ever change.
No. I've been this excited since I was a 7-year-old, Jay. I don't think it's going to change. I think the cement has dried now.
Well, I love that about you. I hope it does stay that way. But at the same time, I mean, at some point, you get to a place where you feel like you've seen it all, right? Don't you feel that way? Now, we haven't seen it all in life, but like in certain pockets.
I'm easily jaded, and I'm working really hard not to be, but I think you're right. There's a lot of things I've seen. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times when someone says to me, you have to see this, it's so neat, I'm like...
My time's more precious. I was into that 15 years ago.
I did that 20 years ago. I'm fine.
Yeah, it's funny. Plus, I was helping bake the bread, so I know I know what's actually in that shit. Yeah, that's funny. Well,
I guess you guys find you've gotten more jaded or less jaded as time has gone by?
It ebbs and flows. Less now. I think I'm having more fun seeing things. But for a while, I was really jaded.
Part of it for you was the walls, because the professional walls, because to keep everybody out, it's kind of like, You know what I mean? Like, You were really good at that.
Yes, and where I got messed up was my clients had different intentions than their teams. So I had to keep different intentions quiet from people. So it isolated me really fast.
You had the divorced parent syndrome, where there are sides and teams, and each side and team has their own agenda, and you're like, well, but don't tell the other side and team. Like, but I work with both sides and teams, so I have to now live in this weird nothing.
Yeah, and my parents are still together, so I didn't have that experience to draw from. And I failed miserably trying to navigate it.
How do we navigate it? We try, right? We just try to get down there. Try to get down that river. You never know the first time, right?
Correct. And I'm just saying it's really hard. So for everyone who hasn't been through it, it's hard as fuck.
The medium is the message. So, I mean, take that with you tonight. It's good to know. I know that I got to that late. I think that Jen Zidek was saying that in regards to something else earlier. And I'm sorry that I just saw it now. But I love
Mark
the
F.
idea.
Medina just bought a badge. Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Mark F. Medina. I love the idea that that there would be a Jerry Seinfeld, Johnny Lieberman, rift isn't even the right word because there never would, but you know what I mean? Just a fun little whatever.
Yeah, that's a weird matchup.
Is there a chance it's a work?
What's a work?
Is it a chance that it's something that a publicity stunt or something that they're just playing around with the public?
That's what I kind of said at first, right? That's what I kind of said at first. I was like, is he really pissed, or is this more of like a let's hype each other up by saying we're pissed about it kind of thing? But
yeah, there's an article coming out in 6 months or something like that for the promotion tour of the book or something like that. Like,
but based on what when I poked that, when based on the responses and Nicole's gut here and kind of my gut as well, I have a feeling that Jerry Seinfeld is that really good businessman. He is really protective of his image. Everything goes through him or his team.
Okay.
It's not a big deal, I bet, but I bet he is serious about it.
He doesn't play around with stuff like that. Especially.
You don't have to at that level. You've got people and attorneys and teams of people.
There's other people, yeah. I'm with you.
Lucky guy.
Would you want to beat Jerry Seinfeld? Think about that for a second.
Would I have? Okay, well, I think the question from that context would be, would I like to be a guy that have teams of people who could just say, okay, let's do this. Hey. There you go.
He's applying stuff to it. Just start with the yes or no.
Well, Jerry Seinfeld is a 70-year-old man, so I don't want to be a 70-year-old man right now, just out of that principle alone.
Because you have your own goals and things you want to accomplish, and there's plenty of time. You want more time to do that, which you have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
Pretty good point. pretty good point. That's like the best point, actually. Because I would have made it about money and fame. I'm like, oh, well, and access, once you have that kind of money and fame. But I think that you took it to a much more human place. I love it.
I would love to have that talent, though.
Which one?
He's a very talented man.
Oh, just his wave of talent.
Yeah, like the way he looks at the world and also his work ethic and all of the things, the methodical nature that he has. Those are attributes I would very much enjoy having.
I like everything you said except for the way he looks at the world. I don't like the way he looks at the world at all. He's very cynical. In fact, all his comedy is based on it. And he used to have a book that came out in the 90s called Sign Language. I want to write the follow-up called Cynical, how Seinfeld ruined a generation because he in that show did a great job of picking everything apart, finding what divides us instead of what brings us together.
Yep.
And it was so fucking successful and so good and funny. I mean, the product was so good. It was so good at doing that it succeeded. And it did move the needle and change how people are and how people, think. And globally. And I think it's subliminal because I don't think it's Jerry Seinfeld set out to ruin the world. I don't think Steve Jobs did with the iPhone either, but I kind of feel like once the world's knowledge was in everyone's hands, everyone became an expert in their mind. Everyone thought they knew everything, which is the most dangerous thing in the world, folks.
Yeah.
Excuse me while I'm on my soapbox for a second. We don't know anything, no matter what you think you know. I don't know. I just heard the soapbox, so I decided to back off it. I'm sorry about that. But gosh, I'm such a Seinfeld fan still, even saying and believing the things that I say and do. Because like you said, he's damn good at it.
Does he like just taking the other side? Like if he sees something, he'll take the other side no matter what it is because that's just how ingrained that is in him?
I don't find him to be contrarian by nature, necessarily.
That is the comic's job, right? To shine the flashlight where whoever's talking isn't. So you have to have a little bit of that in you to be good at it. But I don't feel that he is that type because he doesn't strike me as the type who just needs to be right all the time. I think he thinks what he thinks and has his beliefs and is just simply firm by them, which I really respect.
Yeah, and in comedy, it's like your persona, like your way you like and do like is who you are. Mm-hmm. And that he wears it.
I'm with you, Mike. I love that show as well. I love the Seinfeld show. I love his connections with Letterman. I love most things that Seinfeld's been affiliated with. Ironically, not a fan of his comedy for the same reasons I mentioned before. It's not my frequency. He's too good at it. It's a little too polished. It's a little too presented versus the Gary Shandling, here I am bleeding, please like me. I relate more with that. I'm not polished. I'm not good at it. It's kind of like, here I am. I'm willing to do it, and I'm really honest, and I'm really authentic because I'm being vulnerable because I'm telling you things about me or us or whatever. Plus, while everyone thinks, oh, Jay's just living out his dream job over here, like as much as I love doing this and everything, I also hate it because it is still scary and hard for me because I don't think that I'm good at it or we're good at it or whatever. That imposter syndrome is very real still. 507 episodes in. I don't see any of that ever making it to light from a Seinfeld project. That's the part that would never be seen. It's like that's the back of house and he only shows you the front. And we're kind of like, well, it's all soup, so you want to see how we make it?
I watched the Eddie Murphy episode of Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee yesterday.
Cover of the book.
And what's that?
Cover of the book. Nice callback. It's the cover of the book.
Oh, that was Eddie Murphy on there. Oh, there you go.
Gee whiz. Good job.
Oh, look at that.
I know. This is the worst thing ever.
So the thing I loved about that episode
I hope Jerry Seinfeld doesn't get this pulled off of YouTube because I'm showing his likeness on this. thing here with Eddie Murphy.
Hey, Jerry, don't do it. I'm buying a book based on this show. So there you go. I love that they're in a Porsche Carrera GT, which is my favorite Porsche of all time. I love that car very, very much.
Oh, no.
But they talk about getting nervous. And Eddie Murphy talks about how at the top of his game, back in the day when he was at the top of his game, the sets where he wasn't nervous were the ones he did not do as well. And how you needed that nervous. And I mean, we're talking at that point about, a superstar of comedy back then. And how he would still be nervous when he went out. Those were the best shows. And Seinfeld agreed with that. How and so it's almost like you don't want that imposter syndrome that you're talking about. And I've certainly dealt with it too. You don't want it to completely go away. You just there always has to be an element of that or something to make you nervous anyhow. Whether it's doubting your talent or whatever.
Yeah, it's the discomfort thing, right? Chris Rock's all about that. Like, it can't be too comfortable. You have to stay in discomfort for it to work.
His backdrop, but one of his comedy shows was Comfort's Poison.
Comfort is poison, yeah.
Right. So I think about that all the time because that's so true.
Or Comfort is the enemy? Was it Comfort is poison? Was it that bold?
Yeah.
The thing was, it was not just that. It was the brightest thing on the stage, so it burned into your retinas, and it never changed from before the show till when Jeff Ross did his warm up, and then the whole Chris hour. It was just on the whole time, and I found it very offensive that it was. I kept looking down. I couldn't take it. I get it. But meanwhile, it was that important to him that was it.
And yeah. And I feel like he wanted people to remember that, which you clearly did, but it was important thematically because everything he talked about referenced that somehow.
Yeah. Certainly the relationship stuff.
Oh, yeah. He's really self-aware of like his part in everything. And he points at that more often than other people.
I hate to come back to this. Threats of lawyers were mentioned.
Okay, no.
See, that statement though, like again, so many times if a comedian, like I listen to Bill Burr's podcast, and if you were to transcribe some of the things Bill Burr says, it would be like lawyers were mentioned. Okay, but was it tongue in cheek? Was it like, was it real? Like, okay, yeah, no, we're getting the lawyers involved, like a serious, okay. Or was it, hey, do we get to get the lawyers involved? Like, context is everything when it comes to things like that. And I would wonder very much about that. I mean, hey, maybe
you are really defending that Jerry isn't pissed about this, aren't you? That's your position? You don't think it's serious? Or he is?
I don't know enough about the situation to know if he would actually be serious or not, or if he has something against Johnny Lieberman or any of that. I don't know enough information to have but what I'm saying is
he doesn't have anything against Johnny Lieberman. He likes Johnny Lieberman. Just for the let the record stand.
that to me makes it that I would probably put a $5 Canadian bill down on the table saying within 6 months there'll be some sort of article or something in Motor Trend about the new book or something like that. Like to me, that just sounds, if he does like him, it doesn't sound like, oh, let's start posturing in the public domain that we're going to get lawyers involved against Johnny Lieberman. Like that.
I think you might be misreading the situation here. Spike was talking to Johnny Lieberman on the podcast about it, meaning Jerry probably talked to Spike about it.
Right.
Does that make a difference to you? Jerry privately had a conversation with his friend and colleague Spike about it,
saying
because
I'm really pissed. We're going to get lawyers involved on this.
There are four faces on the thing. If it's the Andy Warhol type.
Yes, they're all different colors, right?
Yeah, probably, but they're definitely all different. In the one, it's Jerry, it's Spike, it's Zuckerman and Lieberman.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that's what he's talking about here.
That's what I think.
And by the way, all of this is an ad for Spike's Car Radio.
Yeah. You're welcome.
No, I'm just saying. No, not us talking about it. I just mean all of those shirts, all of the stickers, all of that stuff is advertisement for
Agreed.
Spike's car radio,
Yeah.
right?
So if that's the case, again, that just makes me go back to my original position. It sounds like it's a.
Oh, see, it
I don't
firms
know.
up mine.
I don't know. I'd have to hear it.
In my mind, it
I'd have to
firms up
hear it.
mine. It's Jerry saying, hey, listen, I like you guys, but you can't be doing that without having my thing. Oh, well, Johnny did that. All right, well, tell Johnny.
Okay. And then we're also going to tell everybody on the air about it. Like, I don't know. I get that. Okay. I'll tell this goes back to what we were talking about earlier.
Why wouldn't you tell anybody?
Have you guys become more cynical or less cynical?
It's a great story.
I've become more cynical.
Oh, you have?
Well, no, I'm saying that I've become more cynical. As optimistic and happy and all that stuff and energetic as I am over the years, I have actually become more cynical. And this is one of those areas where I hear something like this and I'm like, yeah, those guys are all in it together. They're doing that to get people talking about things or whatever. There's an example of my cynicism right there.
But you come from a wrestling background, right? And
Yes.
and that's like huge with, like, you understand all of the strategies with all of that stuff when it comes to, and this sounds like you're putting into, none of these guys have ever watched wrestling or live anything in that world or life. They're probably closer to your investment clients, I would imagine, right?
Yeah.
A little more serious when it comes to money, because
Sure.
this is money. And
Agreed.
with that group, I don't care if it's a nickel. I don't care if it's a muffin. Catch my drift.
Or a muffin top.
Well, I know what you're doing there, but unfortunately it trumped what I was doing. But yeah. Or a muffin top. Absolutely. Or a sweaty bagel.
I'm just
You
saying,
choose.
okay, so fair enough. And like, again, I don't know enough about the situation, which is also.
Nor
what
I.
said.
Nor I.
Yeah.
But I am believing it. Let's see. All right. Let's see. Threats of lawyers were mentioned. You heard about that. Irene Hoffman. Thomas Edison said, we don't know 1 million to 1% of anything. I've seen all the Cars and Coffee shows. I like the Jerry I see on these shows. Yeah. All right. Now back to Jen Zidek. Cease and desist ordered.
Wow.
Lieberman has really tarnished his relationship. I think Spike said Jerry asked what was wrong with him. Zuckerman is the real star of the show. I agree with Jay. I do not think Jerry would be okay with his image used without permission or payment. Yeah. Even if it's a nickel, I'm telling you. And that's why he's there. That's why he is who he is and how he got there. You know, I mean, it makes sense. You got to protect it. But a lot of people don't get it.
I'd say that too. It's different.
A lot of people don't get the invisible machine that is Hollywood either.
Yes, the business seems to get lost on a lot of people. There's a whole.
But I didn't know about it until I got here and got into it either. I mean, so I think it's normal that most people wouldn't know about it, right?
Yeah. It's a bummer when people are honest about what they do and that what they've seen and done, and people that have opinions don't take that into consideration.
But again, because they don't know to. Because they think it's one thing because it looks one way, and then it turns out like it's another thing. When you zoom out and you realize all the people that weren't speaking up in that moment. And you're like, oh, I got away with it. And like, you'll never get in that room again.
Yeah.
Well, this has been fun. Can't believe we got into all that. Not you. Oh, you know what? I got a viewer mail here. How about that? Can we do a viewer mail? Oh, no. Here we go. This arrived the other day, total surprise, from... This is perfect that I'm doing this on F It, It's Aloha night, because this came from our friend Gunnar on the Big Island of Hawaii, who owns a gallery called the Harbor Gallery. Excuse me, let me tell you what the address is if you happen to be going to the Big Island. You want to check out the Harbor Gallery. Harbor Gallery is on Akoni Pule Highway in Kameula, Hawaii. 96743. Harbor Gallery. You can look it up, Harbor Gallery. But, excuse me. Excuse me. All right. Here we go. Yep. All right. This was a lovely surprise gift that I can only imagine is actually for you. While there was no note, this clearly will go in the Hawaii room.
We talked about that shot. I love him. That's awesome.
Isn't that beautiful?
It's gorgeous.
It's an old American Airlines.
He asked
Totally our artwork and our style and our colors.
I'm so glad that's the one we picked because he's like, "Would you fly here?" I'm like, "I don't know."
What did you fly here?
When we used to go to Hawaii.
Oh, what airline?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. That's
And
very
I couldn't remember.
Oh, that's adorable. Well, I just thought that was so sweet and thoughtful. It was obviously for
It's
you. So we'll get
awesome.
it framed at the place. And thank you, Gunnar Mensch. And everybody, please, if you're going to the Big Island of Hawaii or shop online, I'm sure they've got a harborgallery.com, harborgallery.com. But if you're on the Big Island, jump in the Harbor Gallery there. Beautiful.
Awesome. Thanks, Sue.
Mini Cooper. I fixed the seat. I buttoned that shit up. All good. Works great. Love it. Car was all clean. We took it to the doctor the other day. One day it rains in LA, and it rained a lot. We were going through like 10-inch puddles on the way, like flooded road puddles. And made it no problem. Fun car to drive in the rain.
It was fun to ride in.
Yeah. So got it home. Cleaned it up for tomorrow. GVBC. Fixed the seat. And there are still things to do to it. It still has to go into, get its checkup and service and whatever. But running great. And, look who's here. Hello.
Say hi, Jay. Hi, Nicole.
Hi.
Hello. How are you?
Good.
Yeah, nice to see you there.
Are you just
I like
coming
your
to say hi
hair.
to Paul? Oh, they like your pink hair.
Is that left over from Halloween?
Yeah.
Are you saying goodbye to Paul? Okay. I love you, my love.
Oh,
Thanks,
that's
guys. That was
beautiful.
nice having her on.
Oh, that's beautiful. Your paw, P-A-W?
Paw. Yeah. Am I Paw?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ow.
Bye, my love. Bye. Sorry, guys.
Don't be. I got nothing better than that. That was adorable. Let's see. Oh, the business. We got to do the business. Let's do that real quick. Let's see. Adam Ferrara is going to be at the Marconi Museum with us this weekend on Saturday, the 5th, November 5th. It's here it is. Born for a lot of things on this card. I had to find it. Born for Fast Toy Drive, and that's Sebastian with OI. Does the Born for Fast Toy Drive every year. It's a huge deal. Huge. They filled up a whole racing trailer last year, and they plan to do the same thing again. And it's going to be fun.
We're such good people.
Love the Marconis. Love being down there at the museum. And it's always a good crowd. So good stuff. That's where we'll be. As well, Adam Ferrara. Let's see. Hello, Deli. If you like a shirt like this right here, of the long sleeve variety or short, you can check yours out at the Hello Deli, your only source for officially licensed Late Show with David Letterman merchandise. Go online to Hello-Deli and say hi to Rupert. Tell him Nicole says hello as well.
Because I usually can't.
That's right. And they officially sponsor the Letterman podcast. So listen to the Letterman podcast so that they keep sponsoring the Letterman podcast. Our friend Byron Bowers hopefully had a great time in Texas last week. Magnus Walker's Urban Outlaw 10 exhibit is at the Peterson. He is changing it and adding stuff to it constantly. There's new videos, there's new signage, all sorts of stuff. It is different even since opening night. So if you've seen it already, you might want to even see it again. If you're at the Peterson, go down and get that vault tour. Check it out. Now, the ones that pay the bills here. Let's see. This episode has been brought to you in part by Series 1 Films. Let's see if I can get this right. Series 1 Films would like to know, are you going to SEMA? If so, Series 1 Films can help your brand be seen with content and press releases designed to get you customers. So if you'll be at SEMA this year, send them a DM and check out series1films.com to see how they can scale your automotive business. That's series1films.com, series1films.com.
Series1films.com.
The one, if you're watching, is a number one denoted by our friend in Canada. And if you're listening, you just heard me. Let's see.
I can't help it.
They,
I tried not to snort.
I think people like when
We
you
love the snort.
I know, but it's only because you're so funny sometimes.
Oh, yeah. All right. Tell your friends. They say all which separates men and boys is the coverage for their toys. What types of toys are we talking about today?
Collector cars and whatever you want to insure.
Nope. Today I'm talking about chainsaws.
Really?
Well, I mean, all right. And collector cars and boats and your home and your business and all the things that need insurance. Licensed in most states, St. Clair Insurance shops top provider so you get the best coverage for your toys. You want those toys covered. You want to find out about that coverage? Get yourself a quote. You can go online to www.coverageforyourtoys.com. Coverageforyourtoys.com.
Coverageforyourtoys.com.
And while you're there, tell Jeff St. Clair that Nicole says hello as well.
Because I cannot.
We're just going to add that to every single one. Tell everyone that Nicole says hello because she won't be able to. Although I don't know. Today you're slow, but you're taking your time, so we can understand the words.
Working on it, man. That's all I can do.
Yep, working on it, man. That's all you can do. Couldn't hear that. Hey, you know what? I wanted to ask you. How was Guido Cocomello the other night? Did we even talk about that the other day? How was the show?
We haven't talked about it on air. I don't think we talked about it. No, Guido Cocomello was fantastic.
Up in your hometown of Kelowna, he was doing a show.
So I'm not sure exactly what he did at the Marconi for you guys, if he truncated part of his one-man show or not, but genius what he has done. So he's got a show called So I Marry a Manja Cake. And so it's basically, he's Italian, very
That's
Italian, and it's a full 2-hour show, like with an intermission in the middle and everything. It's fantastic. And it's about how he married somebody who isn't Italian. And the way that, I don't know exactly if he's doing this for the whole tour or if this is just a regional thing, if it's a Canadian thing because he's Canadian, but he has linked up with Italian clubs regionally. And so he linked up with the Kelowna Italian Club, who I have done things with for years on a business standpoint and different things. And we have a very strong Italian community here. And so going to the show, and Jay, thank you very much. Candy and I both thank you so much for making. Jay and I were talking, and it's like, wait a second, Guido's in Kelowna. Hold on, and within,
he said it on the show, and then you weren't here, and then I forgot to mention it, and I said, oh, somebody who was on the show is going to do a show in your town. If you want tickets, I can probably get you tickets.
Yeah. And it was the next night. So it was like a fantastic, unexpected date night for Candy and I. So we go to this theater, which typically, when stand-ups show up in this theater, very difficult to fill because there's the promotion of events like this is a completely different animal. And if somebody's touring across, if they haven't done enough to promote, they half fill the theater. I've seen big names, half fill this theater. Well, we get there and it's full. And the reason it's full is because they've linked up with the Italian club, which is robust where we're from. And we're seeing all of these people in the community that we wouldn't normally see at a show like this. Because they're out supporting it. And there were so many Italians in there. And the whole thing is it's a cultural piece about just, what it's like when you marry somebody outside of the culture.
I was going to say, if anybody's ever seen My Big Fat Greek Wedding, this is sort of his Italian
Very
take
similar.
on that sort of story.
Yep. Great analogy.
That's neat.
And it was funny because he
right? Yeah.
And Ian.
Yes.
The other.
It's funny how he would say things like just things that are obviously typically Italian, and the place would just light up with laughter. And the manja cakes, myself, Candy, the people in the audience who weren't, while maybe not quite getting the joke the way that they did, it was a delightful experience hearing it. We talked to him and saw him afterwards. And I mean, it was genius how he put it together. But then it also is very cathartic because he talks about losing his father in it. And it just, the show is hilarious and heartwarming, but it'll make you want to call if you've got your parents still around or family around that you haven't seen for a long time. It makes you want to phone them immediately because he put in a lot of heart and soul and real life aspects, life events that have happened to him. So it's very, very, very good show. I highly recommend it.
Again, vulnerable, authentic.
And funny, and just clever. Yeah, very, very good. And he's just so likable. And he put in, like, you can tell he's a huge Sylvester Stallone fan. Like,
well, he does the bit.
He
he does a pretty good impression.
He does, but also the clever way. Like, he put in the speech from Rocky IV. Like, the speech from Rocky IV, it's a very cheesy speech. If I could change and you could change, everybody could change. And he puts that into the show, and it's so funny how he does that. There's a lot of very good things. He puts some De Niro in there, all sorts of things, but very, very good.
I think he's going to be one to watch. I said that when he was on our show here. He is better than a lot of people at his level.
Yep.
And he is working very hard to not stay at that level. I see no reason why he isn't going to have a great trajectory.
I would say so too.
And he's a damn nice guy, and he's doing it for the right reasons. And he doesn't care about getting famous. It's about doing his art and feeding his family, and that's the right shit.
That's where the good stuff comes from.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the authenticity, I guess.
Yeah.
I love it. Great. I meant to ask you about that the other day. Letterman podcast. What is going on with that this week?
Tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 a.m. Eastern, Fred Graver drops. And I'm very excited about that. It's a fantastic episode. Here's a guy who, very, very intelligent man, wrote 2 Choose Your Own Adventure novels, worked for Norman Lear, was also on staff at Cheers. Went to Twitter TV. Working right now for what's that?
Twitter TV. Was there a gap between Cheers and Twitter TV?
I think he did
sensing an employment gap.
But then also was a writer for Letterman during late night, 84 to 90, and was his specialty was remotes. And so some of the stories he told about, life and things that happened during the remotes. And I think I mentioned this. I might have mentioned this on Tuesday. I've talked about it with a couple of people, but, he witnessed right in front of him, Dave being able to go out in public and do some of these remotes to Dave not being able to do it because of how famous he got. And that happened all in front of Fred's, experience. So, yeah, very, very good interview. It's going to be an awesome episode.
Good. Awesome, man. Keep cranking them out.
Yeah.
You got your new studio
Crank it
coming.
out. And then Joe Grossman. Yep. Joe Grossman's in the can as well. And then I think we've got Pat Farmer. I think I'm going to have Pat Farmer done in the next few days as well. So that'll be a lot of fun.
Outstanding.
Lots of good
That's
stuff.
going to be a great one. He the stage hands have... It's very hard to describe how this goddamn business works, but in local television, everything's kind of there. There's the cameras, there's the microphones, and anybody can go touch anything. Because I know in the morning I do the cameras, and in the afternoon I'm doing the audio, and in the evening I'm doing something else and whatever. In union television, people have a job, and that's what they do, and don't touch their shit because that's their union and it's their guild and it's their rep and it's their thing. Why the frig did I start saying this? Holy
Pat
crap.
Farmer.
Thank you. So when it comes to props are it's a set dressing. There is zero difference between props and set dressing when it comes to tangible objects, right? This mug, in this case, it's a prop because of what I just did, and I'll explain that in a second. But if it were just sitting here, it's set dressing. The only thing that separates props from set dressing, and I'll get back to Pat Farmer here, I won't lose my train of thought, is if an actor interacts with it or if a talent interacts with it. So the fact that I just did this, it's a prop.
And a delicious
With
one at that.
a prop person has to then be the person who takes care of this. So the prop people are the ones who bring the coffee or the water in the mugs or whatever. Pat Farmer was a stagehand. They didn't have props people per se. It was all the same type of job because it was equity. They were in a theater. It wasn't. It's different. It's different. Again, for the same reason, unions and guilds. Oh my. Pat Farmer was one of those guys. He had direct access to Dave, talent. The stories you're going to get, not only, I mean, everybody is a fly on the wall there, period, right? But like a lot of the people were stayed up in the tower, right? And didn't come down to the theater. And some people were down in the theater and didn't go. He was like, not only in the theater, he was standing next to the, always standing by, ready to go to change everything, to clean something up, to rebuild something, to reset something. I hope the Dons and you have a blast researching that one before you do it, because there is so much. You could do a whole episode on Pat and Kenny transcripts. That shit
Yes.
is, or all of the Pat and Kenny stuff. R.I.P.
Yes.
Kenny Sheehan. Another stage.
Well, and this will be
Those
there's
bits are so funny.
I apologize for going on and on about that. I'm so excited for you and Pat Farmer. I would love to have
well,
Pat Farmer.
here's two things I'm going to say in anticipation for it. Number one, I do want it to be a tribute episode to Kenny as well. And again, every time I have one of these people on for the first time, it's a tough needle to thread a little bit, because we want to get the biographical stuff and the how you got here and all that stuff. But you want to get to the stories. The stories are what, like you just said, they're the things that get people excited. But we're going to set the table. So hopefully this isn't our only crack for it, because we are going to tribute Kenny in it. But the other thing that I'll say about this is all of the stagehands, like when I was back in New York, I don't know if you saw the episode that I had Candy on, but we put a bunch of video of when we were in New York. And one of the videos was a guy with a guy by the name of Bill Palumbo. Bill Palumbo worked for Pat the entire time, and he's transitioned over. He's in his 60s or 70s, working for the Colbert Show now as a construction guy.
Jesus Christ! I thought
and so we had him.
Now we remember him fondly.
And him and Tommy, the lighting guy, who's now in construction as well. The reverence that those people have for Pat Farmer. He was so respected by the other stagehands and other construction and prop people as awesome. Well. And so and every time I've even like mentioned that to Pat in an email or whatever, he's just like the rest of them. He can't take a compliment. Oh, well, yeah, it was a lot of fun. Like, he dismisses it. But these people have reverence for Pat. Rupert has reverence for Pat. Like, lots of these people do. So I'm very, and every interaction he and I have had, half a dozen or so, have been just really, really nice. And I cannot wait to do this. This is another dream guest.
Some people are just super solid, and you can tell. And he's just one of those people who seems super solid, and you can tell.
Yup.
That's so great. And when you do talk to him, please apologize on my behalf, of course.
We're going to talk about that for sure.
I'm sure he's one of the people who would have had to mop up that mess. Maybe don't mention it. Let's see. Letterman podcast did that. Prize wheel. Told you about the Mini. I'm really excited about the Mini. I'll tell you what, too. I'm weirded out by the Mini dealership still. It just hasn't really stopped. We were on the show here the other day, right? And we got that text about the 32-point inspection, whatever. And I was like, that's all I want. Of course. Great. Let's do that. So I responded back in kind. Hi, Angie. Thanks for the follow-up. Didn't miss the appointment. Whatever. I told you what I wrote. Blah, blah, blah. Yes, I would love to book an appointment. Never heard back. Then today, 9:46 a.m. That was Tuesday night, right? Thursday morning. Good morning. Our system showed you missed your appointment. Literally the exact same message from over here, from Tuesday. Thought that was odd.
You can play the Price is Right sound right now.
We'll work on our communication, but he was right. That was a good place for it. Thanks for producing. So I said again, but whatever. I'm just playing along at this point. I go, hi, Angie. Thanks for the follow-up. Yes, I would like to book an appointment at your service clinic for a full inspection and wiper blades. Thank you, Jay Ryan. And I didn't hear anything back, right? So then later in the day, I saw it again, and I was like, fine, I'll poke the word. I go, is this an automated system? I would like to make it an oil change 32-point check service clinic appointment. Thank you. That was at 12:04. 2:17 p.m. I get a Dear Jay, thank you for choosing Mini of Universal City.
Oh, wow.
Your appointment for your 2006 Mini has been confirmed for Tuesday. Whatever, November 15th, 2 weeks from now. If you need to reschedule, please, whatever. And I said received and confirmed. Is this how the world communicates now? It's a bot, right? Angie's a bot? Or is
Yeah,
Angie a
what's the
person?
over-under on Angie being a human is what I was about to say.
Because I was excited about, Angie from Mini sounds nicer than the guy I'm dealing with before. So whatever. But I think it's Bot Nation.
I think it's a bot, which blows.
Oh, well, hey, she made the appointment. You know what? You're right, too, because the email, when you get hang on, this is good. When you look at the email, I had the same thought you said, but I got to look at it again because I forget what it says at the bottom. Oh, yeah, here it goes. Powered by my Kaarma. But it's like powered by strikes me as this is a bot program.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to come up with an acronym for Angie.
Kaar.
Automated.
Kaarma. Oh, you are trying to figure out?
Yeah, an automated national integrated girl experience. I don't know.
Well, she has an email and a last name, if that helps you. So I guess maybe she is real. She has an extension and an email and a name. But I feel like that was a bot communicating with me. I feel like this is too. It's just got her signature. This is the email. An appointment has been made for November 15th at 7:45 a.m. for service clinic inspection. Please let me know if you have any questions. That or they do know who we are and we're kicking around over there already because I certainly have said things on the show. And while I kept it off of social media thus far, I did untag them and unfollow them after that unpleasant experience. Because I was like, well, if I'm not going to fucking be over here, why do I want to? I was trying to support them like I do with everybody else we deal with, TLG or whoever.
Yeah, I got that.
Whatever. Anyway, it's weird, but we have our appointment, so we'll see. Also, still playing phone tag with the M Shop. It's weird. It's okay, though.
Also, you've become an expert with a rivet gun.
Well, that's another weird thing. That rivet gun kind of didn't really work that well, so I actually returned it today. But I'm gonna order a better rivet gun, and I'm gonna handle that like nobody's business. But yeah, sure, I know how to rivet real well. I've built many time machines and a couple ectos. I mean, it is what it is. Speaking of which, I saw our buddy Sean chimed in over here before. I guess it's when we were looking at the art. Oh, haha, mahalo, art. Amazing art. He was here when that package arrived. All right, now let's see. What do we have here? Irene Hoffman. Spot on about Pat's job. Rupert said he is the nicest guy. Exactly correct, Jay, about Pat's job. They still see each other. Isn't that beautiful? Not B-Man says, has Giller been on either of your guys' shows yet? What's Giller?
Yes. Don Giller.
Irene Hoffman. He was... I know you guys. Gee whiz.
Oh,
Grief. He was nice. He was nice to me talking outside several times too. Oh my gosh, yeah, of course. Let's see. 5ZRT is laughing. I bet they can't name all 32 points of the inspection. Yeah. Oh my God, you're so right. You're so right about that. I mean, it's... I don't know what to do, right? I feel like they got to at least look at the damn thing. We'll have to drive a lot in the next 2 weeks, though, because we do not currently need an oil change. It's always better to do them more often than not. It's not going to hurt the car, but we don't need one for 5,000 miles, so road trip.
To answer his question, Don Giller has been on my show.
He has?
Just one little clip, but yes. In the episode where Candace was on, we posted a video inside Don's apartment where he narrated about the Rubik's Cube and the Joe Grossman flip book. We were actually in Don Giller's apartment. That video is in the show.
So you're one of those, huh? Like technically Don's been on my show. Is that what it is?
In this case, you're darn right I'm one of those. That's a hell of a lot farther than a lot. Many have tried to have him on something in that regard. So I'm cool with that. Yeah, I'm one of those.
Is Don some kind of get that should we be working harder for Don's and I'm not aware of this? Because I've always asked him if he wanted to come on out of like respect, because I respect what he's done, and I've known him for since the 90s. I mean, like in person, known him since the 90s. While we didn't talk for a long time in the middle there, like I've been in that cave too, but in the 90s, looked the same. His opinion on this is kind of that fans. He doesn't see the appeal in the fan talking about the experience. But my position is Don is not an ordinary fan. He is behind the velvet ropes. He is way beyond the ordinary fan. He's a contributor. I mean, he's part of the story now, whether he wants to be or not. And that to me is interesting. As far as what the frig we would talk about, I have no idea. I mean, he's got endless amounts of knowledge.
I bet. It feels like he's not just a fan to me.
No. And he doesn't carry himself as a fan either, for the most part. He usually I don't know, I guess maybe we all have ebbs and flows of that.
For me personally,
him being in Rupert's deli the other day, he was a little behind my comfort zone there. I thought I was going to call the health department just on that photo alone. He was a little too far behind the line for my comfort, especially with all of his health stuff.
Agreed.
To answer the question, to me, he would be, but I mean, I've run a pretty specific show in the Letterman podcast. He would be an incredible get. If it were up to me, I would have one segment a month with him. And I don't look at Don as a fan either. I look at him the way I look at Bill Carter or Jason Zinnemann or some of these other people that are up there. I would throw him into a category more similar to theirs than that of a fan.
I agree with all of that.
Stories.
I agree with all of that, which is why I think talking to him on a podcast is a misuse of his skills. I think you, at some point, once you're able to, or the other show that's coming up, maybe that's a good home for it. But either way, something where Dons can contribute in ways that Dons can. In the old days when Letterman was on the air, there was the online presence that Walter and Jay used to host. CBS/Late Show in the beginning, but I think it was just lateshow.com in the end. But whatever the show website was, there was a whole category. It was very, very interactive. There was so much stuff for the fans on there. The Wahoo Gazette and the Top 10 contest and all that stuff. Daily shit. But Don's had an area, I guess a segment, as you would say, I guess, called, what was it, This Dave in History? Is that what it was called?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and he would contribute to that. And he would, through his archives and all of his database stuff, he would be, 20 years ago on this date, this was the guest and this crazy thing happened or whatever. And he would just write basically a blog that was very interesting to Letterman fans. I could see him doing something like that, be it with clips or, I mean, you're the idea guy. You've got so many ideas for ways to utilize him, I know.
Well, selfish ones especially. I mean, my God, if I had my way, I would do I would send him the raw footage of whatever we shoot here. I would send it to him and just let him finish it off. If Fred Graver, for example, starts talking about a remote on a construction site, and then suddenly, there's the clip edited into the show or something funny, something behind the scenes, something whatever. I would. Oh yeah. I mean, he is.
That would 100% be awesome.
And you're right.
That would 100% be awesome. That would make your show like the most like official.
Yep.
That would be so cool.
I would do that in
because
a second.
He would do it with the care that he put into his compilation videos that got millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of views on his YouTube channel.
So
that's one hell. I know there's clearances, and I know that that's not an easy thing to accomplish. But at some point, if we get this thing far enough down the road, at some point, when there's money for the clearances and whatever, that's one hell of an idea, dude. Because we're talking about those other things where we would need somebody to do similar work.
Hopefully, we have a situation where we can talk about that to somebody.
Don's is going to have a blast with this episode. Maybe he'll make a comment and show us that he was here.
We're not making him uncomfortable at all with this adoration.
I think he says he doesn't like it, but I think he does. I think it's like everybody who says, stop. No, stop. Oh, no, you stop that. You cut that out right now, mister. Stop. A little bit more. Go on. I think he likes it. I could be wrong.
All I know is how much I appreciate him and what he's and his vantage point. Like he does. He has that vantage point that's just so unique. And I appreciate that very, very much about him.
I can't. You know what? I'm going to go on record here. Ready for this? I can't believe I'm going to say something like this, but I think I am. I bet there is no other. I can't remember how long Don's has lived in his apartment, but it's as long as I've known him, and that was to the 90s. And as I could attest from having been there in the 90s, it was not freshly moved into. I'm going to say that as a Letterman fan or just as a person, I don't think there's anyone who has looked at one thing with one perspective for that long.
Oh, that's a very good point.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like he's had his microscope or his Hubble telescope or the new one, the James Webb. He's had that thing focused in so tight for so long from one viewpoint that it's almost like he can see through it.
Oh, that is a really good perspective because and you see even the Hubble telescope that's been upgraded, like has upgraded everything too. Like it's gone.
He
from
gets a new computer every 20
to
years or whatever.
Yeah, that is.
But it's still the same apartment.
Point.
He's still sitting in the same window by the thing. You know what I mean? It's that same little claustrophobic area.
In the show, I talk about him. I call him an alpha collector. And I think you could probably identify with me on this here. Like I collect things. I've met people who collect things, and then many times there's a person that is the alpha collector of whatever that thing might be, where they have the definitive. They're at the top of the mountain, and
the James Commissar.
Commissar, great example of that. Leno with cars, great example of that. Yeah. Don is an alpha collector, and that's how I referred to him on the show when Candy and I were talking about him, because he just is. It is, and anytime I've ever seen any alpha collector, it is always, whether you're interested in the subject or not, it is extremely impressive what has happened and what they've done. He's a PhD level. Of knowledge. If there was a PhD available for it, he's Dr. Don's.
That's that could be the name of his show, Dr. Don's. Dr. Gonz. Dr. Gonzo. Donzo. Wow. Well, anyway, yeah. Sorry we're talking about you so much, Dons. You're on our mind, I guess, tonight. I hope you're well. I hope your tooth feels better, man. You always got something. Poor guy. He's always got something.
Oh, I felt bad for that.
Yeah. Anybody who's ever had any kind of tooth issue ever, or any kind of pain in your mouth, it makes you very, very, what do you call that? When you're sympathetic, I guess, just to other people. I was going to say empathetic. Sympathetic is better.
It's sympathetic.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's been 90 minutes of this shit. How does everybody
Aloha.
feel? How does everybody feel? I'm telling you, we've got great guests coming up. Let's see, next week. Wow, the VP of the LA Auto Show will be here. I forget his name. I didn't write it down. But the LA Auto Show will be here represented because of our friends at ID Agency. Victor said, we're repping the auto show this year. We've got a lot of new ideas for the LA Auto Show. We want to change what it's always been. We want to freshen it up, be more experiential. There are a lot of electric cars this year, so there will be places where you can drive electric cars inside. You can do test drives because it's electric. You can run it indoors. But they've got a lot of really neat ideas and ways to hippen up. It's my words, not theirs. The old LA Auto Show. So we're going to be talking about all about the stuff they have planned next week, as well as I think Greg Grumberg's going to be here on Thursday.
Ooh.
And then we've got makeup shows as well. Zack Klapman, who was supposed to be here tonight, I told you we're being COVID safe. He is going to be here on the 15th, 14th, 13th, whatever. Coming here soon. Oh, same day as the mini appointment. That'll be great. That'll be great. That'll be great to talk about. And that's what's going on.
Good.
Follow the Letterman podcast or listen tomorrow or watch and stay tuned all around the rest. Prize Wheel, I think we know what we're going to do. So if you have things you want to give away on the show, we're going to be starting to do the Prize Wheel, I think next week, depending on how many things we get. Some people are throwing stuff in. Rami's sending a book that he just published, and I can't remember what else, but some things we mentioned at Breakfast Club, and people are sending stuff. There was a Porsche collector's pack that Frank was donating. But we have things here as well. I would like to put some larger ticket things on there, like a PEC experience, maybe something like that.
It's going to be so much fun.
It will be fun, right? Probably get oil changes from places, like maybe
I
Scientific
feel like
Oil.
everyone's going to donate something.
Yeah.
This is so cool.
And then it's just a thing where we're just,
Yep.
It's just fun. We just do that every once in a while, and at least once a show, and then we give some stuff away.
Yeah.
We'll have to figure. Mike, you can help me with the logistics of this. Whether they have to be viewing, whether they don't have to be viewing. Do they write in? Do they?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? We'll figure out some mechanism for them to do it. But ideally, people are always sending us stuff anyway. This viewer mail is beautiful, but it's stuff that's usually tailored for us. Like we want to give stuff to you, the viewer, for being here with us. Yeah. We want to pay. We want to bribe you to be with us. Hang out with us. We're going to give you some shit. I think we did it, right? We're good?
Oh, yeah. We have proven that we can hang out anytime we like.
Yeah. Says every podcast ever. All right. Well, I love you. We love you up in Canada, mister. And all of you at home. And, oh, my gosh, the Instagram people here. Is anybody still here? Oh, my gosh. There's a couple still here. I can't believe you're still here. Thanks for being here, guys. Thanks for hanging out. We love you. We love everybody. Please love one another. Take care of one another. It's getting crazy. It's getting politics again. People are getting politicky again.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I know politics, you have to pick a side. If you're going crazy hardcore on either side, I feel like you're doing it wrong. If you're hating that person because of whatever they think, you're doing it wrong.
Yep.
You guys have more in common than you don't. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. I hate to be all soapboxy at the end here too, but I'm just watching people get heated again because that's what folks are talking about. And it's like, we aren't all the same. We don't have to all be the same. We never will be all the same. You can put us all in the same box. We won't be the same. You can put us in separate boxes. We won't. Take all the boxes away. We're not all the same. And there's beauty in that. And we should celebrate that. We should celebrate the differences as much as the fact that we're the same. I don't know. I'm watching people starting to fight again, and I can't deal with that energy. I feel like it's time to heal. It's time to heal, and that's the side I'm on. And get yourself sane in the plane. I love everybody. Sorry for all that. It's not the show for that, but love everybody, love everybody, love everybody, and love one another. See you out there. Oh, that's